Alright, this next video is going to take us, not sure how far we'll go, but we'll definitely get through 26 and maybe a little further on this video. For 19 and 20, determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, and explain your reasoning. Hopefully you got when we did these problems with lessons 8 and 9 that we are looking at slope. We need to compare slopes. Okay? That's the point of 19 and 20. Okay, so number 1, or 19 I guess, the slope of this line is 3 over 2. Okay? We need to find the slope of the second line. It's not in, it's in standard form. I need it in slope-intercept form. To do that, I'm going to subtract 9x. It's a negative 6y. Equals negative 9x plus 12. Divide by negative 6. Reduce negative 9 divided by negative 6. That's negative divided by negative is positive. And I can take 3 out of both of those, right? So that's a positive 3 over 2x minus 2. The slope of this line is also 3 over 2. So, since the slopes are the same, these lines are parallel. Okay. Next one. A lot of people are going to look at this and say that they're perpendicular because they're touching. Okay? Touching does not mean perpendicular. We still have to look at their slopes. And that's what these points are there for. We are using those to find the slope. Okay, so let's find the slope of line 1. So line 1 has a slope. We can just count. Down 2, right 3. So down 2 is negative 2. Right 3 is positive 3. Okay? For these to be perpendicular, the slope of the second line better be flip 2 and 3, so 3 over 2, and it had to be positive. So it should be positive 3 over 2 if they're perpendicular. So line 2, let's find the slope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 5 over 3. Those are not opposite reciprocals. So these lines are neither parallel or perpendicular, since the slopes are not opposite reciprocal. They're definitely not parallel. They're intersecting. They're definitely not parallel. So we know that. But they're also not opposite reciprocal, so they're neither parallel nor perpendicular. Okay? 21 through 26. This is where a majority of your points are going to come on the test, is writing an equation in slope-intercept form from various types of information. So first one, just through 2 points. First thing we want to do, find the slope. So like we did on the first video, 5 minus negative 1 over 10 minus 6. 5 minus negative 1 is 5 plus 1, which is 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Reduce that, I get 3 over 2. There's my slope. If I'm going down here to write my equation, I know I'm just going to put that right there. Now I'm just going to find B. To do that, I use y equals mx plus b, and I plug in what I know. 3 over 2 is the slope. Pick a point. I don't care which one. I'm going to choose this one just because both numbers are positive. So I'm going to put 10 in for x and 5 in for y. 3 times 10 is 30, divided by 2 is 15. Subtract 15, and I get b equals negative 10. So now I'm just going to write the equation right there, by plotting or putting that right there. Okay? Next one, from the table. So I wrote an equation from 2 points. Now I'm giving you, actually, 4 points. Okay? Pick 2 of them. Really don't care which ones. Just to show you that it doesn't matter, I'm going to choose this one and this one, the third and fourth. Probably not the 2 I'd normally choose, but I'm going to choose those. And I'm going to write those points, 1, negative 2, and 4, negative 17. And now I have the exact same problem as what I just did. So now I'm going to do the slope. Okay, so negative 17 minus negative 2. 4 minus 1. Probably the hardest part's right here. Negative 17 minus negative 2 is the same as negative 17 plus 2, which is negative 15, over 3, which is negative 5. So my slope is negative 5. Notice I'm just writing that down here right away. Now I got to find b. So y equals negative 5 times x, and it doesn't matter which point you choose. I'll just take this one. X is negative 2 plus b, and I should just put 13 in right here. So I have 13 equals negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. Subtract 10, I get b equals 3. So negative 5x plus 3. Now, I'm going to show you something here that doesn't always happen, but does everybody see this point right here? If you understand that the y-intercept is where x equals 0, you would have seen that I had given you the y-intercept. Right? I gave you the y-intercept. As soon as you see x equals 0, you know that that's a y-intercept. It's a shortcut. I didn't do it right away because I wanted to show you that you don't need it to do the problem, but it would have been quicker. Okay. 23, parallel to that line that goes through the point. So the only thing I need from this is the slope. So m equals, we need to find that. Well, it's not in slope-intercept form yet, so we got to do that. So subtract 3x, I'll just write it out again. So I have negative 6y equals negative 3x plus 9. Divide by negative 6. I get y equals, negative divided by negative is positive. So positive 1/2 x plus, and it really doesn't matter what this is. It's actually negative 3 over 2, but that doesn't matter. Only needed the slope. So the slope is 1/2. You have to understand that parallel lines have the same slope. So it's going to be that slope. I'm using that slope now with that point. Okay? So now I'm going to do y equals mx plus b. I'm going to put 1/2 in for m, negative 2 in for x, and 7 in for b. Hopefully you're noticing a pattern. We've been doing this part on every problem so far on this video. Almost every problem. 1/2 times negative 2 is negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. b equals 8. Oh, I should have done this. When I found the slope, I should have wrote it down. But there it is, plus 8. Okay. 24, slope of 0 that goes through to negative 1. So I gave you the slope, m equals 0. Now I got to find b. Now there's a shortcut for this one, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to go ahead and put the slope down here. So negative 1 is y, 0 is m, 2 is x. So negative 1 equals 0, because 0 times 2 is 0. So negative 1 is b. So 0x minus 1. Now there's another way of writing that. 0x, we don't have to write that. So y equals negative 1. Now, if you would have known that slope of 0 is a horizontal line, right? You know it's a horizontal line. Okay, then you know that it's going to be y equals, and it's just going to be a number. And what does y equal in this point? Negative 1. There you go. Okay, number 25, perpendicular to this line that goes through the given point, which is way down here. So basically what I'm looking for is a line that's something like this, that dotted line, with the equation of that line. Well, the first thing I need is the slope. To do that, I need to look at the slope of this line. What is the slope of that line? it is 1, 2, up to 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 over 4, which is 1/2. But it says perpendicular. That's the key thing we need to see. So the slope of the perpendicular line would be, if this is positive, this one has to be negative, and then you have to flip the fraction, so it would have been -2. That's the slope we're using. So when I'm writing my equation, I'm doing -2x. Now I have to find b. That was step 1. Step 2 is find b. Okay, that point has coordinates of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, but that's down 5, so -5. Those are the coordinates. Now I'm going to do -5 is y, -2 is m, x is 4, plus b. -2 times 4 is -8. Add 8, you get 3 equals b, -2x plus 3, and there we go, which makes sense. It's a dotted line, that's the y-intercept, that makes sense. Okay, number 26. It says the x-intercept is 5 and the y-intercept is -2. If that's all you see, that's going to be a really tough problem. A lot of you will get stuck on this one and not know what to do. But you have to know if the x-intercept is 5, that means that's the point 5, 0. The y-intercept of -2 means that's the point 0, -2. When you see it that way, this actually becomes pretty easy. Because the slope, you just do your normal thing that we've always done. -2 minus 0 over 0 minus 5. -2 minus 0 is -2. 0 minus 5 is -5. A negative divided by negative is a positive 2/5. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Y equals 2/5 x. B, okay, well, we actually have the y-intercept. I told you. It's right up here. It's -2. No work needed. Done. Okay. Once you see that, this becomes a pretty easy problem. All right. Last one I'll do on this one is the first word problem. Okay. Use the following situation. Doug recently went on a diet and he was able to lose 3 pounds per week. After 7 weeks of dieting, he weighed 234 pounds. Write an equation for his weight, which we're going to call y, after dieting for x weeks. So weight is y, number of weeks is x. Now I saw one phrase up here that was really clued me into something. Pounds per week. That word per especially. Pounds is a weight. Week is, so it's y over x. This is talking about slope. If you're losing 3 pounds per week, the slope is going to be -3. Making that connection gets us going on this problem. So right in the equation, I got y equals -3x. I just need to find the y-intercept now. To do that, I need to see that I have a point here. 7 weeks, that's an x value. He weighed 234 pounds. That's a y value. So I'm going to use that point with that slope. Y equals mx plus b. And I put 234 in for y. M is -3. X is 7 plus b. So 234 equals -21 plus b. Add 21. You get 255 for b. Okay. Which makes sense. He weighed 255 and he's been losing weight, so he's down to 234 after 7 weeks. What does the slope mean in this problem? Well, we kind of already talked about it. It's the amount of weight lost per week. What was Doug's starting weight before he started dieting? Well, that's the y-intercept. That's 255 pounds. So before he started dieting, that's when x is 0, he was 255. If he continued with this diet, how much would Doug weigh after 15 weeks? So basically, 15 weeks is an x value. I'm going to put 15 in for x in my equation. So y equals -3 times 15 plus 255. Negative 3 times 15 is negative 45, plus 255, he would weigh 210 pounds. Okay, and that's the first story problem. This word problem gave us slope and a point. The next word problem might not. You might get different information. And with that, might have to change how you do the problem.